Welcome to Love Your Coaching. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to talk about a coaching plan. What is a coaching plan? I hear you ask. A coaching plan is an opportunity when you are seeing a coachee for a number of sessions to have a planning session. A session that helps you and the coachee bring out all of the topics that they may want to bring to further coaching sessions. It's a great thing and it's a really good opportunity, particularly if you've got a longer coaching program of, say, 4, 6, 8 sessions. And it's particularly good when coaches have a range of issues that they want to bring up and they want to talk through. It's not essential. Loads of coaches don't use coaching plans. I learned about it in about 2007 and have adapted it over the years, but really like it. I think it adds great value. So in today's video, we're going to look at how coaching plans work, and we're going to look at some of the structures, some of the alternatives, and some of the reasons why we do it. So let's go. Firstly, you'll remember from previous videos when we look at the coaching program that the coaching plan slots in here in about the third stage. You have your initial contracting, the goals and partnership session, and a bit of paperwork can go to and fro. And then you have the coaching plan session before you start the full coaching sessions. It doesn't have to be done like this. It doesn't have to be standalone. Sometimes you can merge that coaching plan session with the goals and partnership session. Those two do go well together. You'll see on our coaching demo videos channel that I've done both ways. A coaching plan session on its own, and then also a coaching plan session merged with goals and partnership. So have a look at both of those and see which one you prefer. You can, of course, do different types with different people. So that's where it sits. And why are we doing it? We're doing it so that our coachee has the opportunity to be able to work out and bring a range of topics and have it a bit organized in advance and have it thought through a bit in advance so that they can think about in each session which would be a different topic. It's not a lock-in plan. It's a very flexible plan. Often it changes and molds and adapts, but it's definitely a starter. So let's visualize it and let's look at how we organize that session. Think about it. Our coachee has started engaging with us. We've had a contracting. They sent a questionnaire, and then they come along for this coaching plan session. This is how we'd probably structure the conversation. We'd explain that today is not about coaching through to the end of any topic, but it is about getting to be clear on what are the sort of topics that they may want to bring to coaching. So they know that, they're clear, they've done a little bit of thinking about this in advance, either because of the goal setting or because of paperwork we sent them, questionnaires and the like. We then check in. The goal may have already started to emerge from previous conversations, but we can have them reiterate and be really clear. What goal do they want to achieve from the whole of the coaching program? Where do they want to be? So in other words, why have they signed up for coaching? Get a bit of clarity on their goal. And then we want to get here into the body of the coaching plan. And this third box is mainly what we're doing in a coaching plan session. We're spending time and we're spending energy to help try and identify 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 different topics that they may want to bring to coaching sessions subsequently. We can do this in a number of ways. We can do it in a real simple, what sort of topics have you thought about? We can do it in a simple ask, are there topics that relate to the overarching goal? Or we can do it on the basis of paperwork we sent them, on questionnaires, on things that are emerging from the questionnaire, things that they want to work on. I'll break this box down a little bit more in a moment, but that's the main body of the coaching plan session, really finding out what these 3 topics or 4 topics are. When we've got that, it's always good, I think, to check in and find out where do they want to start? Which is the first topic for the first full session? It doesn't have to be the most important. It doesn't have to be the hardest, that whole eat the frog first. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't even have to be the one that will have the most impact. It just has to be their choice. They need to decide where they want to start. Some people want to start on what makes logical sense to them. Other people want to start on what makes emotional sense to them. And it's really up to them. So we get them to identify what the first topic is going to be that they'll bring to that next full coaching session. Then, as with all coaching type of conversations, we bring it to a close. We ask what they've learned, how they're feeling, and we check in, and then we'll be able to close the session with and for them. That structure can take anything between, I'm going to say 25 and 45, 50 minutes, that sort of time. Anything less than 25 minutes, it probably feels a bit in a hurry up. Over 45 minutes, if we get into an hour and a half, we're probably getting into a bit more full coaching on some of these topics. But that's an overview of the structure. And when you watch any of the demo videos, you'll see pretty well that's what I tend to follow. As I said, let's break down this bit in the middle, this third bit, because that is probably the fiddly bit that we need to look at. So, how I suggest that we break this bit down is we think about how we're going to explore each of the topics. So we might ask them, what's the first topic? What do they want to bring? What have they thought about? What topics started emerging from the questionnaire? Something like that. Then a few follow-up questions. You don't have to use these. I never like working slavishly from a list, but getting a few questions, finding out really the level of importance, perhaps finding out where they are already at with this thing. Enough so that it's on the table, but not so much that you feel you're right in the meat and you need to coach them all the way through. I think my favorite question at this sort of time is to check in about impact, really to ask them, to have them think about if they did move through this topic to some good outcome, what difference do they think it would make? And you'll notice that I put in bold, what impact might it have? We're not asking them to predict the future or guess. We're just asking them to imagine and hope a little bit. When we've done that, then we're probably safe to be able to ask this question, to say, shall we put it on the list? Shall I put it on the list for an upcoming coaching session? And then either say, yes, absolutely, I really want it. Or they'll say that, yes, it isn't yes. That one is, yeah, we could look at that. And so you might want to check in if they don't sound that committed. If it's not a topic for coaching, fine, put it to one side, move on. So I think this can help you to be able to identify and help them bring out some of the subtopics that relate to the overarching goal. It might be things that are already thinking about. It might be things that they're stimulated from the questionnaire. It might relate back to the goal. It may be negative things, challenging things, or it may be positive things, but it's really up to them. So I hope that gives you a little bit of structure to help you manage the body of this coaching plan session. We do share this slide when we do practice in training, and we do find that the coaches tend to like and appreciate having this little bit of scaffolding. This isn't the only way to do it. What I've talked through and showed you is this type of approach, this staircase approach. First topic, let's explore it, get it, check that it's the right one for coaching, and then the same for topic 2 and topic 3. And that's nice and flowing and sequential. And if our coachee is responding in that way, that's great. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's all a bit more nebulous. It's a bit more big picture. There's lots of stuff, and it's harder to manage and sort of narrow people down into this little flow. So in that case, I think we can be a bit more fluid, and an alternative structure looks a bit like this. We give them all the time and all the space, and we follow with good coaching questions. We ask, we check in, but we're not trying to come up with these sub-themes bit by bit by bit. We just give them a good amount of space to explore. And then when we get to that 25 or 30 minute stage, they may stop and say, okay, from all of that, let's see if you can identify 2 or 3 or 4 areas to work on. And we find being responsive in that way gives a bit of fluidity to you as a coach, but also it gives a bit of freedom to the coachee to not feel that they're locked in. So this gives you two alternatives, either a systematic flowing approach or a bit more big picture approach. Try both or respond to the coachees that you have and see which works best. So all of this structure gives you the opportunity to have a really strong and a really rich session that allows your coachee to name all of the topics that they may bring to coaching. They're not locked in, as I said. We'll keep a note of them, of course, and before every coaching session, we might drop our coachee an email and say, remember the coaching plan, do pick one of the topics if you want to carry on working on it. But they may pick other things as well, or the topics may get resolved naturally without needing coaching on them, and that's fine. It's a provisional plan, and I think it's good and it's important to think about it as a provisional plan. The question that coaches often ask, certainly before they practice it, they said, do we have to do it? Is it good? Is it important? It feels a bit, slowing the whole process down and all the rest of it. And almost universally, after coaches start practicing it, they see the benefit. Just this morning, I was listening to a coaching plan recording from a coaching training, and the coachee was so excited. They were so enthused by the end, and she said, I was so confused, I couldn't see it. And sometimes my fuzzy thinking really needs this sort of thing. So we can really, really often see that there's great benefit for the coachee of doing this. My encouragement is to give it a go. My encouragement is to see what happens if you build in a coaching plan session into your coaching programs. Learn how to do it. Learn how to do it well. Practice with your buddies or fellow coaches before you unleash it on a client. But be confident that a coaching plan can be really, really useful. Really interested to find out how you get on. So please do drop me a note, charlie@loveyourcoaching.com, or put some comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Enjoy this. Have a good week and happy coach planning.